Welcome to the Tenet Podcast. I'm Todd Pearson here with the other half of Tenet, runner-up in the 1996 World Toe Wrestling Championships, known to some as quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, my partner, Wes Brown.
Oh, my God, Todd. God dang. That brings back painful memories because, I had to retire because I had to have foot surgery because it was just brutal. This is a brutal sport. You think, well, toe wrestling, how bad can it be? But I have pictures that I'll have to post of my foot. And now my big toe on my right foot is shorter than the toe next to it. It used to be longer because they had to drill some of the actual joint out to seize it because it was so messed up. Yeah, ugly feet and toe surgery. And I threw in the hat in 1996. So after that.
Yeah. Alan Nasty Nash, and people break their toes doing this.
Yes.
Like you just alluded to, that you can really hurt yourself. He broke 4 toes the next year in 1997 when he won it for I think that was the beginning of his run. He's won it like 16 times, but yeah,
he's brutal in the sport. He's brutal.
Once again, a sport that started out in the UK, in a pub, the old Royal Oak Inn in Wetton, Derbyshire, UK. It all revolves around drinking.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite pubs.
Once you get a bunch of guys, and now the sport has bloomed to where, everybody's participating, males and females, but it's always dudes sitting around drinking whatever, and next thing you know, they're toe wrestling.
That's right. And that was one of my favorite pubs. I've been to England a couple times, attempt to swim the English Channel and, all those kind of things. So yeah, this was just another happenstance that I got talked into. And next thing I know, my feet are off, my socks are off, or my shoes are off. My feet came off later, but and then I'm knee deep into it, or toe deep anyway. So
let me ask you this. I read that it's customary before the match, you take your opponent's shoes and socks off for them.
Right.
Did you do that?
It's a show of respect, right? You take their shoes and the socks off. Then you get in this little kind of like, it almost looks like a box. There's a little divider on each side. And then you just go at it. Yeah.
Not my kind of sport.
No.
I'm not touching somebody else's feet. Sorry. There's a lot of things I'll do in life, but touching somebody else's feet.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Nope.
So, people paint their toenails and it's a big deal,
Again, part of your legacy of all these incredible things that you've done to contribute to be quite possibly the most interesting man in the world. I feel pretty honored to be doing this podcast with you.
Well, now no less honored than I am honored to have you by my side.
Did you have something to drink before you came on the podcast?
Yeah. Who knows what might happen tonight?
Got spiked sweet tea or something over there. All right, let's get on to some art. Enough silliness for this evening. Our guest this week is a friend and artist that we last spoke with in June of last year. It's always great to see him. Welcome back to the program, Topher Straus. Topher, man, how are you?
I'm doing really, really well. It's been a lot of learning this last year, and it's exciting to be back on your podcast. And I love all that you do for the art community. So it's a real honor.
Well, thanks Topher. Hey, did you do any toe wrestling when you were in Hawaii recently?
You bet I did. I toe wrestled with it's really hard to imagine this, but a merman.
A merman?
Yeah. Just one big toe. And he catapulted me into the ocean. And so that's the first and the last of my toe wrestling adventures.
Yeah. I think he had the advantage for sure. I think it's almost unfair. A merman.
I know.
Wow. I love you, Topher.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Hey, before we get started, I want to tell our listeners where they can go check out your work. We last had Topher on, like I said, last year. I believe it was in June, and it's episode 31. If you want to kind of deep dive into a little bit about his practice and his art, he talks about it in detail. But tonight we're going to talk a lot about what's been going on with Topher and his business, because he's a hustler. And we got a lot of great comments from the last episode. A lot of people really loved that episode with Topher and all that he shared. So check that out, episode 31. You can check out his artwork, his beautiful, exquisite artwork at topherstraus.com. It's TOPHERSTRAUS.com. And you can find him on Instagram at Creative Topher. Check it out. So, man, since last time we talked to you, we were right kind of at the beginning of the pandemic, and you had some shows that were kind of up in the air a little bit, but you were still planning on them happening. One was at Bit Factory, but you had other shows going on last year too, right?
Yeah, I believe right about then I had the show at wonderful Bit Factory. Bill gave me my start in the art career, and I'm eternally grateful to him and to Bit Factory. And we had a show that just kept getting pushed back because of the pandemic. And the second that it could open, it opened up. It was called Open Spaces, and it had, I believe, 4 or 5 artists in it. And I was able to debut some work and meet some other fantastic Colorado-based artists. It was a neat landscape show. And because of the pandemic, another show that I was doing with Howard Harris, fantastic artist, got pushed back. And so they both opened up at the same time. So I had 2 shows on Santa Fe at the same time with minimal exposure and people coming out. So it's kind of tough, especially the Open Spaces show at Bit Factory was all kind of my national park landscapes. And my show at the Neats and Knoll Gallery on Santa Fe, just a block down, was called The Masters. And Howard Harris and I got together and we talked about our influences and doing a show, almost like a tribute show, Matisse's and Miro's influence on our work and creating our own type of work inspired by them. So I worked really hard on creating some really cool pieces that are so different and interesting than my usual work. And so we didn't really get the kind of exposure that we wanted after, because both of Howard and I worked so hard on those shows, on that show in particular. And we didn't really get exposure because of the pandemic and limited people inside, but it wasn't about that for me. It was about finally being able to get people out and about and even if it was 3 or 4 people only in the gallery at one time, at least people were getting out and being able to see it. And I hope that work gets out more, but it was a nice moment being able to finally show what a dark period of time that was. Hard period for all of us.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, are those pieces that you had with Howard, are they going to be shown anywhere else in the future, or where a guy can see them?
Yeah, I'm working on, you said it, I am a hustler. I work hard. I want to make a living as an artist and support my son and also support all the community service projects that I try to do. So I've got a lot of things in the works. And people do really respond well to my Matisse inspired work. So I have a feeling it will get out there again. Yeah, but it's on my website. I did this really cool piece called Cat on a Pool Table, and it's using really bright colors inspired by Matisse. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not crazy about cats, and I'm not crazy about the game of pool. So I thought it would be a fun exercise for me to do a painting inspired by 2 things that I wasn't crazy about and make them beautiful. And so I kind of gave myself these cool little projects and was heavily inspired by the masters. And so I think that painting will probably get some exposure soonish. It was a fun exercise. I challenge all artists to do it.
There it is.
Yeah.
I really dig that, man.
Thank you.
It's really fun and very, very different than your other stuff, like you said.
Yeah. And it makes me like the game of pool and cats more. So I guess like I do a lot of industrial work too. Like I do cityscapes and I love to paint viaducts. And truthfully, I think there's beauty in everything. So that's kind of how that evolved is me finding beauty in cities and then kind of thinking about it and contemplating on it, and then taking two things that I didn't really see too much beauty in and trying to make them beautiful.
How did that come about, this cat on the pool table? What was kind of your thought behind it when you were creating it?
Well, I first started out thinking about, I got bit by a cat maybe about a week earlier. It was lost outside, and I went over to try to give it some water and food and pets, and it kind of like pounced at me, and I thought, wow, I really have never got along with cats, and then I started thinking, well, what else do I not like? And I'm like, the game of pool. I'm not good at it. I have friends who are really good at it. And if we go out to a bar, they're always like, let's play pool. And I'm like, no, you don't want me to play pool. I'll rip the table. And so it just kind of came about through that exercise of thinking, like, there really is beauty in everything. And it also came about through that moment that we were in of the pandemic and being in isolation and like bored out of our minds and going into interesting places inside our head.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's a great story. How you took two things that you don't really care for and you meld them together and create a beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
It really pops on the metal. I do all my work on metal. So yeah, it really, really has a lot of gloss and pop to it.
You have a really good printer that prints on those metals.
Yeah. It is quite good and big. So
yeah.
So I was going to ask you if this was a digital piece or something that you actually, because I know that you actually work and paint traditionally as well. So, yeah. But this is a digital piece.
Yeah, I do. So Todd, I do paint traditionally, but my website really just features my brand, right? And I've worked really hard to build my brand. I've been talking to some galleries in Aspen who want me to start painting landscapes on canvas, but I think, this is kind of really done me right. And I feel really fortunate to have found my flow and rhythm. So I think I have done some really cool paintings, very different. The landscapes sublimed on metal really work well for me. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, that's good.
And you should, because you're killing it, dude. So for our listeners, if you want to check out that piece, you just need to go under the work tab and scroll down to wildlife. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can see the piece that we were just talking about.
So I got a question, Todd, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah.
So Topher, do you feel like your style has evolved a little since you started doing these national parks landscapes? Has the process or style changed much?
Oh yeah. I think as artists, Wes, we need to always evolve, and we need to always look at maybe while I might be looking at the same sorts of things, landscapes, I'm trying to see them differently. And my new work is, I believe it's very strong and it's very different. I did a piece called Big Bend National Park. I've been working in Texas because I've got a lot of customers out there. So I'm expanding my Texas landscapes, and it's very different. As is one of my newer pieces, Haleakala National Park in Maui, where I actually went out to Hawaii, spent a week, and maybe we'll touch upon that fun story because it's fun. But my style is evolving, and I need to keep it fresh. I think it's important yes, I'm known for my landscapes, but I'm trying new things all the time. And if I don't, then it's not going to be fresh.
Right. And I love that Big Bend National Park piece. When I went to your website tonight, that was one that I kind of gravitated to. I love the way the river looks, and it's just a great little piece, or not little, a great piece.
It's 45 by 90. If that's little,
yeah, it's pretty. Just a little quaint little piece.
That is not little to Wes, because he was just complaining the other night that he didn't have enough wall space for big pieces of art anymore. He's filling it up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I love that piece too. And that's very different. If you look at that piece compared to the 10 that I originally did for my show, The Parks, you'll see just how much it's evolved or changed. So
yeah. I'm glad you addressed that. I think you're right. You have to evolve as an artist, or you get stagnant. So,
and I'm super, super excited. I'm going to be playing with sculpture for the first time in my life. And I've got some really fun ideas, and I'm totally trying to evolve and do new things. And the sculpture concepts, I don't know how the heck I'm going to do them, but I'm going to need a team to do them. They're that big, and they're going to be that because I like big. I like big.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's been hard to stay focused to a certain degree with everything going on, and there's a lot going on. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Topher, you're a big personality, so I love it.
Well, hey, you guys are big personalities. I got a lot to follow, so thank you.
Hey, speaking of that national park series that you've done, and you continue to add to those, correct?
So, I have recently, I've been I used to have a couple people helping me out for the first, because I've only been at this 3 years, believe it or not. Yeah. And for the last maybe 6 months, I've just been solo. I decided to start taking things on myself, including all the logistics of getting pieces to galleries and museums, including, all the marketing that I do. And you guys know I do a lot of marketing. But with that, I found that I need to keep my eye on the prize. So I have been doing 2 new landscapes every month in 2021. Yeah, I wake up at 5 in the morning. I do social media for no more than 10 minutes. I actually set my timer for 10 minutes and I get all of it done, and I don't look at other people's stuff. I just get my social media done. And then I jump on my computer or in my moleskin book, and I start designing and figuring out where I'm headed. So I've been feverishly producing. I've got 22 national parks, 22 national parks. I think when we last talked, I had 11.
Yeah.
So wow. It's fun, and it's been fun picking where, what national park to go to focus on. And I think maybe one of the funnest things that I did recently was that trip to Hawaii, right? Maybe about 2-3 months ago, I got vaccinated. I was able to travel. I fly for free. My mom was a flight attendant for United Airlines for 42 years. She raised me just by herself. She worked so hard, and thankfully she still is able to get the travel benefits, as am I. So as soon as I was vaccinated, literally like the day after, I looked for flights and I found an open flight to Maui, and I flew out to Maui, and I stayed on the beach in my favorite hostel with 20-somethings. And I hitchhiked to the top of Haleakala National Park for 2-3 days, and I would hike and I would adventure, and I would not just take in the environment and take photos of the beautiful, beautiful rocks and mountains, but also getting close to the environment and taking pictures of the sand below my feet and immersing myself in this national park, and then hitchhiking back down. And then I would stay in the hostel for $44 a night on a top bunk bed with 16 other people, half of them snoring, and then at night I would get my computer out and I would digitally sketch on my computer on the floor while games of beer pong were going on behind me, and the occasional person would come over and be like, "What are you doing? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?" And it was amazing because I got to immerse myself in the environment. And I've found that that's what really makes my paintings so much richer. So I'm trying to go to more and more national parks. So if you guys have any requests for national parks I haven't done that might be fun and where I can go for real cheap, and let me know.
All right. Hey, have you been to the Badlands yet?
I have not.
Badlands, South Dakota, dude. It's like 50 miles from my house.
Wes, can I stay on your floor while you play beer pong?
Yeah, well, we'll play beer pong and do some toe wrestling, and you can sleep on my couch or whatever. I give you my spare bedroom, but my mom moved in, so she's got that. But yeah, you can crash at my house. I don't care.
Okay, how about this, Wes? I will do Badlands this time next year when we do our next podcast. I will make sure that I've done Badlands National Park, and we'll share some stories about our adventures together. Sound good?
That sounds great.
All right, it's on my list now. So
all right, man. And I'll tell you what, it is really designed for your style of artwork. So you'll be inspired.
I'm excited about that. I really am, because I think it's so important for us as artists to really understand the culture of the location, the not just the landscape on on the huge level, but also on the macro. So I'm as soon as we're off, I'm going to start looking at pictures, man.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, next week. You never know.
Just give me a call ahead of time because I'm going to be down in Arizona in November. So, yeah, I want to be here when I at least I want to say hi to you and have some drinks and shoot the breeze.
I'm staying on your floor, man.
Okay, that's fine. We got
you offered it up, Wes.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't know if he wanted to stay on my floor, but you got a floor, man.
All right, I'll bring my Roomba.
All right.
You need to finish your basement now.
I got a full basement. It's not finished though, but I got a full basement.
Cool.
It's full of shit. And I'm slowly going to be trying to get rid of, but anyway, yep. By all means, stay at my house.
Done.
I love the piece that you did of Haleakala.
That is a great piece.
That is a really phenomenal piece, and it feels different than some of your other ones because it's much more smaller brush strokes, more detailed, I guess, in some ways.
And what is also different about Haleakala National Park is the sky is actually the photograph that I took. So it's in a lot of my industrial cityscape work, I incorporate photography with digital painting. And a good friend of all of ours, Dan Drossman, was like, Topher, you need to incorporate some of your photography like you do with your industrial stuff into your landscapes. So that's what I did on this. And it's the first piece that I've done it on. And I'm working on some new cool landscapes that also incorporate photography. So yeah, and this is a perfect example of how my work has evolved since my first 10 national parks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful piece.
It's very, very striking. When I started to ask this question, where I was going with it, actually, I had read that your Grand Tetons painting is now going to be in the visitor center. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, that's another great thing that's happened this year. That is a major win. I'm thrilled about it. So I get a call from the Department of the Interior, and they said, "Hey, we found your work. We love your work, and we're redoing the Jenny Lake Visitor Center. It gets 500,000 people a year through there. And I believe I'm the only living artist that's going to be in this digital exhibition. It's a permanent exhibition. It's going to be up for at least 15 to 20 years. And a real wonderful accomplishment. I'm thrilled about that. It's a neat piece.
It is a really neat piece. Yeah. And when I read that, I was like, that's pretty phenomenal. Not everybody can say that they have their artwork, in a visitor center in a national park. So I think that's really spectacular. It's a great piece. I was
just thrilled that I'm on the Department of Interior's radar now. And
yeah, right.
Yeah. So I think there's probably some more to come from all this because I do a lot of interesting charity work and I'm doing a lot of work for organizations about conservation. So I'd love to get into more national parks. Obviously, it's my muse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did they take a large one, a 45 by 90?
So it's going to be a digital exhibition because the large one actually sold.
Okay.
Maybe about a year ago. Actually, it was the first delivery that I did during the pandemic. And so it was all this has happened in a year. I've been selling a lot of originals lately. It's been pretty cool. So it's going to be on either projected or on a built-in TV in a wall. But my name's going to be on a plaque, and 500,000 people go through there a year.
Yeah.
So it's an honor, man. It's a real honor. And maybe I'll get into Badlands National Park. That'd be cool.
You never know. You never know. Could happen.
Put it out there.
I'll tell you what, Jenny Lake is such a gorgeous place too, isn't it?
Oh gosh,
man.
Wes, I actually got in trouble at Jenny Lake, which is the irony, because I not only paint about the outdoors and nature, I play a hell of a lot out there. I went, it was like close to the end of summer, and I am an open water swimmer. I love cold water. If you know Wim Hof, he's a big inspiration. I was with my son when he was really little, and I went for a swim. I swam all the way across Jenny Lake. The visitor boats stopped and went over to me, and they're, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going for a swim." They're like, "The water, let us know if the water's too cold." And I was like, "Okay, I got this. Don't worry," because I lived in New Zealand and I would swim in glacier water every day, even during the winter. And so I got in trouble with the boats. And then I got out of the water. I saw my little son. He was maybe 3 or 4 at the edge of the lake. And I saw this little cute yellow puppy lab. It was like a golden retriever and little puppy. And I went over to it. It wasn't a golden retriever. It was a bear cub.
Nice.
So I picked up my son, and I knew there was a mama bear that was going to right around there. So it's pretty cool that I'm in Jenny Lake because it's a special place to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty cool that you're still alive and not ate by a mama bear.
Oh man. And you know, what's funny too, Wes, is that I had Thanksgiving dinner with Grizzly Man. If you know that documentary.
Oh,
really?
Is that right?
Yeah.
That must have been interesting, man.
How did you meet him?
I got invited when I was in the film industry in Los Angeles. One of my friends, Christina, was the mayor of one of those Calabasas, I think, at the time. And she invited me to Thanksgiving. And then there's Grizzly Man before the movie came out and before he got mauled.
Right.
And then it really hit me after he got mauled. But
yeah,
it's fun to have all these experiences in life.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing story there. Along with swimming in Jenny Lake and petting a golden retriever grizzly bear.
Yeah, it's been quite a fun journey. And it's what's neat to me is, I brought up my experience in the film industry. I spent 10 years in Hollywood. I directed films. I produced films. I worked for Robert Altman and just a lot of really amazing experiences. And before that, I was on TV as an actor, and I acted in over 350 commercials in Denver as a child. And little did I know that all these dots in my life would connect to where I am now, and not just connect, but connect beautifully, right? Like, yeah, I am a ham. You guys pointed that out pretty quickly, and I'm a big personality, but all of this has really helped my career in art. All these, my directing and producing advertisements helped me with my understanding of marketing, being on-air talent for Tribune Broadcasting on the show, between when I was 14 to 18, allow me to do my videos and this podcast right now. So I guess the cool thing about life is that if you want it to, every dot can connect.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk much about your whole acting career the last time that you were on. You did that for how many years?
I did that for 3 or 4 years. My mom I was, I think, like 12 or 13. My mom was a single mother. Wonderful. She lives just right across the street from me now. She's wonderful. She's an amazing woman, and she was working, right? So when she would go to work for 3 or 4 days, flying to Hong Kong or London or wherever she'd go, I was a wild child. And I ran into someone on the street, and they're like, "Topher, you should be an actor." And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And so I got my first audition with KWGN. It's still a TV station here in Denver. And I had my aunt drive me to the audition. Had my mom been in town, that audition wouldn't have happened. She would have been like, "No, I'm not going to have you be on TV." But I went to the first audition and rocked it. And 5, 6, 7, 8 auditions later, I was on the show, and I stayed on that show hosting cartoons. Like in between the commercials and the cartoons, I'd be like, stay close to your TV. Woody Woodpecker's coming out. And I was just a big goofball. And I did that for 4 years. And it was awesome, but it also, I was known, when I would go out to places, people would be like, "You're that guy who says the funny jokes on TV." Because I was on every single day from like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. like constantly. And it was quite the experience.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I got to be 17, 18, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to get behind the camera. So I wanted to be a director. And that's what brought me to Syracuse University. They have a great film school. Now, what's interesting about that is, unbeknownst to me, when I went to Syracuse, part of the first year of their film program was a core curriculum in art. Art, I thought. I was an athlete. I was an actor. I could care less about art. I never did it in high school. And there, I stayed away from it. It wasn't for me. And then all of a sudden, to be able to study film, I had to learn how to draw. I had to learn how to paint. I had to learn how to shade with kids that had been doing it their whole life. I almost failed out my freshman year of college. But the ability to have a blank canvas, to learn things from masters, these professors that were successful artists, teaching me with a blank canvas, by the end of the year, I realized that I can do this and I can do it my own way. And that's part of being an artist. And I was creating some neat stuff. Now, sophomore year happens and boom, back on film, right? That's all I was doing. But when I'd have things pop up in my life for the next 20 years, I would paint. I would get in front of my canvas and paint about Al-Qaeda, or paint about, the horrible relationship that I had with my dad. It was a form of therapy for me. And over those 20 years, I didn't show more than 15 people my work. I hid it in a closet because I was ashamed of it. I was ashamed of these dark things that I was painting about. And it was a really cathartic, wonderful, therapeutic expression for me. And it wasn't until just 4 years ago, when I got my divorce, I was in a bad place. I said, I need to be a role model for my son. I can continue down the path that I was on, which was not a good path. I was in a dark place. Or I can pull myself together and I can be a role model for my son and start sharing myself and my soul with the world. And so that's what I did. And I had a friend, her name was Anna Marie, and she was showing at a gallery in Denver called Bit Factory. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to choose the right way for my son and be a role model. So I called up Bill at Bit Factory and I said, hey, I'm an artist. My name's Topher. I'd love to have a show with you. And Bill, because he probably deals with this all the time, was like, hey man, we're solidly booked for the next 2 years. Maybe you can email your work. I go, nope, I'm coming down. And he goes, no, you're not. And I said, I'll see you in 15 minutes. I walk into the gallery 15 minutes later with 6 paintings, some metal works that I put acrylic on top of, very different than what I'm doing now. And I set them down. He's shaking his head, probably a little bit intrigued and pissed off at the same time. And he said, this is different. This is cool. And not only is it good, but your luck is amazing because someone just dropped out of a show that's opening up. You want it? And so Bill and Bit Factory gave me my first show. And I'm so grateful for that. It's so grateful. It was an amazing opportunity. It was an amazing moment in life. It changed my life forever. Being able to share my soul, put myself out there, be vulnerable, which is not always easy to do as a man.
Yeah.
But long story short, guys, everything leads to something.
Yeah, you gotta kind of keep an eye out for it and be open to it, right? You gotta be open to it.
And you gotta not beat yourself up if you're not open to it, at the moment when you gotta be ready for it. And I would love to show you guys some of my work. It's very it looks like de Kooning. I mean, he's a master and it's not that great, but it's very raw and very different than what I'm doing now and very dark. And I wasn't ready to show it. I wasn't ready to be an artist. It took the divorce, and it took that moment when I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, which direction am I headed? And what is my motivation? My motivation is my son and being a role model for him. And until that moment, just 3-4 years ago, I wasn't ready to do what I'm doing now. And now I'm ready.
And you're going with gusto. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I am. And I want to circle back on something that I said a year ago about galleries, because obviously I've illustrated why they are important and how they are important. And at the moment during COVID, it was a rough time. It was weird. All the galleries were shut down. And what I meant to say was that we can do it ourselves as artists. But I also think it's important for me to illustrate that galleries are critical to the artist's career and in terms of not just your career, but getting out and seeing art and having a place to see it other than museums, and seeing new art and feeling inspired. And it's so important, and galleries have really had a hard time during this period, as we all have.
Yeah.
So I try to support galleries. I try to buy art myself as an artist. I think it's important. And I try to see new art out there. And I think they're critically important. And my best advice about for artists that are going out and seeking galleries is, you need to make sure that you understand that they have to earn their commission. If they're taking 50%, you need to say, well, what are you going to do for me? Like, what kind of marketing are you doing? Because, yes, we need to be able to show our work, but when we do it, we should have a partner and someone who's going to work for us. So make sure you read your contracts with the galleries and make sure that you act with integrity towards your galleries, because galleries do a lot for you. And it's like a collector. You need to have a relationship with galleries. So whenever I sell a new painting and I have a phone conversation with someone, if they say they saw my work in a gallery, then I make sure I give a percentage to that gallery, even if it's a year later. It's so important because we're all in this together now more than ever. So
that's what Michael Untied said too. Like if somebody buys a piece and he knows it's from, or they saw him at another gallery, he gives them a commission.
Yeah. And gosh, oh my gosh, I wouldn't be to where I am without Bill looking up from his desk and looking at my art for a second, or having my Vail International Gallery guys just doing a tremendous job for me and getting my gallery in San Francisco getting me in touch with clients that I would never have access to. And in fact, that's a neat story. That's something cool that's happened this year. Is I did a commission for my gallery in Los Gatos, California. I did a executive landscape, a landscape of his career, incorporating all the companies that he took public. He's a billionaire. I'm not going to be able to say his name or not going to be able to show you his work, but being able to have access to someone like that, I wouldn't have without the gallery, and being able to have multiple conversations with him and talk about the piece. So on the inside of the piece, it celebrates all the companies that he brought public. And he is a very heavy hitter. I don't know if you noticed, but my voice went down 2 octaves when I said heavy hitter. He is a very, very, very important person. And so in my conversations with him, he said, well, Topher, not only do I want to celebrate all the companies that I brought public, but I also want to celebrate all the companies that I missed out on and have them around the outside of the border. So I did this totally different kind of conceptualization. It took 4 months. It was quite a big project. And he bought the digital rights to it. And there's speculation that he's going to be putting it on the side of his private airplane.
And I actually got to see that work. You showed it to me on your phone when I saw you the other week. And it's really cool, man. What a cool thing to be a part of and to collaborate with this guy and then, do this commission.
And this gallery being a conduit for it all. And so they're actually talking to some very influential people who have extensive careers about me doing more visual biography work on commission basis. So it's pretty cool, but oh my gosh, I hope this airplane thing happens. How cool would that be?
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, for sure.
So Peter Max used to design airplanes and he's a real inspiration for me and my work. So I would love if that happens.
Yeah,
that would be great. Outside of that commission, did you do a lot of commissions last year?
I turned down a lot of commissions, actually. I actually just did a panel in Canada and Australia about commissions recently, about the whole process of commissions, about the screening process of it, right? When I do a commission, if I'm not intrigued by the subject that I'm doing, I'm not going to do it. If I don't feel a connection with the person, or I feel like that person is going to cause issues and we're not going to be able to mesh well, which is fine, I'm not going to do it. I can make a lot more money doing one of my landscapes than doing a commission. And so I turned down probably 80% of the commissions that were brought to me. And I actually was featured in a magazine, an international magazine called Inspirato during the pandemic about commissions, work specifically. Nothing came about from it, but commissions intrigue me. But if they don't capture my heart and soul, it's a big commitment to do a commission. You're taking someone else's idea, you're collaborating with them. And so my heart needs to be in it. So I had a lot of cool opportunities, but this one in particular in San Francisco really intrigued me. So I did it. And I wouldn't have done landscapes had it not been for a commission. I was doing animals in space. And my friend in Boston was like, Topher, I want you to paint a commission of a Zion National Park for me. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't want to do landscapes. They're boring. Kind of like, oh, man, I don't want to do art. That's boring. But finally, he got me to do Zion National Park, and I did it. And it turned out really good. And I was going to be doing a 2-person show. The person who was doing it with me at shows in South Korea and Italy dropped out of the show. And I said, hey, this is one of those moments that could define my career. So I went into the gallerista and I said, hey, Nitsa Knoll, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. I said, Nitsa, can I have a solo? She said, sure, Topher, what do you want to do? And I said, landscapes. She said, let me see what you did. Let me see them. And I said, well, actually, I only have one. This is it. She's like, I like it, but the show opens in 3.5 weeks. And I said, I can do it. I promise. And so I worked feverishly 18 hours a day for 2.5 weeks, had to get this stuff printed, shipped back to me. And again, being put in a corner when you are, having to find your voice creatively, I had no choice but to find it. And the show happened right when the national parks closed down from the government shutdown, and it was serendipitous. And had it not been for my commission from my friend Jason saying do a landscape, I wouldn't, who knows what I would be doing. So commissions lead to things. Everything leads to something.
I love how you're fearless in just inserting yourself into these situations and making something happen, man. I can't say enough about that because, a lot of times there's a lot of fear based around being an artist, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to be accepted, or people aren't going to like the work, or whatever. But you just go after it. And I love that. And I'm sure that, some of that comes into play. Yeah. As far as like that fear, but at the same time, if you don't take chances, you're not going to go places, right?
Yeah. And if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn. So I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've taken a lot of chances, and I've had a lot of failures in my life. And I've also had a lot of successes, and I'm grateful for both the wins and the losses. Thank you for pointing that out. I feel grateful that I'm a little naive, right? Like a nickname for me in high school, since high school, has always been Tenacious Topher. Like walking into Bill's gallery and saying, I want to show here.
Sometimes being naive can really work in your favor too, right? Like not knowing the parameters that most people might operate, within that particular world, just going in and just being yourself and seeing where it goes.
Well, Todd, it's like what I was talking about with that blank canvas and going to Syracuse and not having done any art, or like just starting art 3 years ago and not being told no by galleries my whole life, and just starting afresh. It's that blank canvas gift.
This past year, you've had a lot of success. Talk to us about something that has gone sideways for you, or talk about what you do when you are rejected? How do you process that? What do you do to get yourself? Do you just like, all right, I don't care, just move on, or do you have to talk yourself through it? What do you do?
Well, I mean, I am a sensitive person. I'm not afraid to admit that. I feel things, and when something goes sideways, big or small, I think about it and I try to learn from it. And I had a friend tell me once that I'm a glass is 3/4 full kind of person, and I am. I am an eternal optimist. I think that's best for my health, and I do get beat up. All of us artists do. I just had someone tell me my work is shit. I thought about it and I thought, well, first of all, I like my work, which took me 40 years to do. A lot of people like my work. But hey, I struck a chord in this person who hates my work. And art is meant to elicit emotion, and that's great. And next thing I know, I'm having a dance party with myself.
That is a great attitude. That's the perfect attitude because, and we've talked about this a million times on the podcast, but you're not always going to resonate with every single person. And that's quite all right because, and you're proof because there's tons of people that do resonate with your art. And, you got a piece that will be part of the National Park Service for a good 15, 20 years. So it does resonate. And those are the things that you have to remember. And the naysayers or the people that it doesn't resonate with, well, that's their thing, not your thing, right?
No, it's my thing. It's my thing because I elicited emotion strong enough for them to have a reaction. And that's what art is supposed to do. So I take ownership of that. It's a good thing.
But it's not negatively affecting you. It's like,
no,
you just keep plugging along. I guess that's where I was going with that. You're not going to let it
it does bring me down. I'm human.
Yeah.
I feel things and it hurt, but I don't dwell on it as much.
And it's no different than, and part of this, I could be a perfect example of, I didn't get the opportunity to tell Jackson Pollock his stuff is shit, but, I thought that for a long time, and it took doing a podcast and talking to people, abstract artists, and spending some time with it and hanging out with Todd. And I've come to a great appreciation of him and Clifford Still, and I love abstract art now. And I think, a guy spends some time with, sometimes you just like, maybe you come to appreciate it. Maybe 5 years from now, that dude will come back and say, dude, man, I was wrong. I like your shit. But if he doesn't, that's okay too. But the tastes change, right? We all mature, we learn things, and next thing you know, we're changing our attitudes about stuff.
That's right, Wes.
Yeah.
Case in point with all three of us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
New Magazine is our media sponsor for the Tenet podcast. That's NUE. You can follow both the national and the Denver edition of New Magazine on Instagram. The national edition can be found at new_magazine and the Denver edition at new_Denver_magazine. Look to New for compelling stories from the world of art and fashion. Thanks for listening. So what were some of the takeaways, or what are some of the things that changed for you or you did differently since we talked to you last?
One of the most there's a lot of things going on, guys. But one of the most rewarding thing that I learned during this last year since we talked is that I can make change, that we all can make change, that we can all use things that we're passionate about to help raise money for organizations that we believe in. In the past 3 years, predominantly in the last year for me, I've raised over $35,000 for various organizations, all kinds of organizations, and it's been just the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. It feels good. $35,000, and in the last 2 months, it's been $9,000 just in the last 2 months. So this time next year, I want to hit $50,000 raised for nonprofits. Now more than ever, the world needs help. we all need connection. Connection is so important. And so I'm doing all kinds of interesting things. I recently, look, I'm not ashamed to show in coffee shops and restaurants at all. And galleries sometimes give me a little shit about it, but people buy my art from seeing them at a coffee shop when they were in America, and I have to ship it to Paris 2 years later because they say the Maroon Bells captured their heart and soul, and it stuck with them, and they can't live without it, and they need it. 2 years after seeing it in a coffee shop. So I'm not afraid to show in coffee shops, not afraid to show anywhere. A lot of artists are, but I think it's actually go for it. And I'm still in this wonderful coffee shop. I've been in there for 3 years. It's called Launch Coffee and Espresso. It's in my hometown, Golden, Colorado. Cindy, one of the owners, came up to me and said, there's this great organization called Be Golden, and they deal with food insecurity. And they have a program called Teens to the Table, which helps teenagers feel like they fit in and not that they stand out, not having enough money to eat. And she asked me if I would do some work with them. So I discounted my veil piece and sold 2 limited editions for Be Golden, and then started to form a relationship with this great organization. And there's this new place in Golden, Colorado called the Golden Mill, which is a food hall. It's amazing. People drive from all over to it. It probably gets about 1,000 to 2,000 people in there a day. And they're partners with Be Golden. And I decided to give half the proceeds from the sale of my Golden Sun painting, which was housed in the Golden Mill, to Be Golden. And I thought this painting was going to be up there for a year. And I have a couple other paintings in there too. But I was like, well, this painting's $14,000. Those things take a while to move. It sold within 3 weeks. $7,000 to Be Golden. It was amazing. It was amazing. I provided meals to teenagers and families for 2 months. That's what it's all about. So that was amazing. And then I spoke at an event with the mayor of Golden, and I debuted a piece, my Breckenridge piece, at that event. And I said, hey, we sell this tonight, and I'm giving 25% of the proceeds to Be Golden. Boom, it's sold. I'm learning, and then they linked me up with Yo Colorado, a clothes maker in Colorado. They have a store in the airport and a store in the Golden Mill and stores all over. And pay from there we're about to launch a hat. And guess what? The proceeds from this hat are going to go to Be Golden. So to have something that I'm passionate about, art, and use it for something that I'm more passionate about, making the world a better place, feels good. And I started thinking, well, what else can I do? What can I do for the environment? And I'm in a vineyard in Palisade, Colorado, called Sauvage Spectrum Estate Winery. Fantastic Colorado wine. Those things don't usually go together well, but this wine is amazing. And I've got 3 paintings up there, and I was down there installing them, and I said, I want to get my art on a wine label. And we started talking about it. And I said, I want to use this wine and my art to raise money for Colorado conservation. And so we're about to launch. We're having a big party in Palisade. We're going to have a launch party in Denver, and the wine's coming out, I think, in end of September, and we've already sold the allocated lot. So they're doubling production on it. And 20% of the proceeds go to Conservation Colorado. So what I've learned in the last year is that I can help, that I can do things as an artist. And I feel grateful to be successful and to make a living as an artist, because I know a lot of people struggle, and a lot of people have a very hard time and have been at this a hell of a lot longer than me and have a heck of a lot more education and experience than me. And I've just been lucky, been really, really lucky. And I know that women have such a harder time in the art world than men. And it's a lot more difficult to be a female in this world. And I feel so fortunate, and I need to give back. And so that's what I've been doing. I've changed what I'm doing in the last year. And that's been a big, big catalyst of change is losing connection during this pandemic and understanding, because I used to be like, I can't do anything. I'm just a person and I can't make change. But hey, I've fed 200 families in my hometown, and I'm going to do that for 2 months by selling art. And that feels good, man.
Yeah. And we can be change agents at any time we want to. All we have to do is find something that we believe in and give our time or give our money or give our sweat and tears. And you can make change, right? That's how change happens, is local people like you working locally, right?
Exactly. Because I mean, there's big change, right? But that can be overwhelming. But what I can do is help out on a macro level. And that's what I'm doing. And I encourage all artists to explore ways to do that. It's important. It's a great gift.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, spectacular, man. I commend you for doing that. I think it's really cool that you're giving back to the community in a variety of ways. And, feeding people for 2 months, that providing meals for people that don't have the ability. And especially here in Colorado, where things are pretty, we have the pandemic, but also the real estate market is out of control and families struggle. And so giving back, especially food insecurity is one of those causes that's near and dear to my heart. There's no reason why people should go hungry in this country. So the fact that you have donated that much money to Be Golden, I think is just phenomenal. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even the simple thing of, depending on what neighborhood you live in, you can't even get decent food. There's grocery stores unavailable, and to get really good, like quality vegetables and fruit, it's a shame. We live in one of the richest countries in the world, and this is what we have.
And you know what? From a perspective of healthcare, by eating healthy, we could save a lot of money in terms of issues that happen later on. So that's another thing I really love about Be Golden is they not only support healthy eating, but they lay a foundation to educate and teach people about how to go forward, not just give them food, but here's how you can make some change and eat healthy going forward. So it's awesome, man. It's a great organization, and I can't wait for these hats to come out, and you can get one when you're in the airport next time or at Golden Mill.
So those are the two places that you'll be able to pick them up at?
Oh, they're going to be all over, but those are the two. I think there's a couple stores, Yo Colorado stores. They'll definitely be at the Golden Mill. So it's super exciting. I'll be sure to send you guys that and a bottle of wine. How's that sound?
Beautiful.
That sounds great, man. You spoke about the whole restaurant thing. It looks like on your website, you have stuff in like 6 different restaurants currently. Is that correct?
Well, I don't count, but I do update my website. So in fact, Vail International Gallery, fantastic gallery. Wow, what an honor to be in there. They just got me into as part of the collection, the permanent collection at the Left Bank restaurant, which is one of the finest French restaurants I've ever eaten at. And it's in Vail, Colorado. It's been around for over 40 years. And I think there's just a handful of art that they've selected. And so it's a real honor to be up there. So that's another thing that came from gallery relationships. So yeah, I am in a lot of restaurants, and I'm looking to continue, those relationships. And I think it's important for us as artists to get our work out and be seen. And yes, I've been in museums and lots of galleries, but I'm not ashamed to be in coffee shops or my favorite pizza place with the best pizza in America, Guido's Pizza. It's all good. These are things that I love and places that I want to be associated with.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the end, if you get your art in front of people and people buy it, even better. But, it's just another avenue that you can have to present your art to the public and get it in front of people. So no shame in that, I don't think.
No. And I am a hustler, and I've been working hard at getting in. My focus this year has been in getting into ski town mountain galleries. And so I'm in 6 or 7 galleries right now. I've changed my strategy on galleries. I'm not doing shows anymore. I'm not doing a 2 or 3 month show anymore unless it's something really special and unique. I'm signing deals with galleries for at least a year relationship, but I'm finding galleries that I want to be in relationships with for a decade or 2 decades that will foster my career and that, I can learn to love and trust. And and like Vale Gallery and like Breckenridge Gallery. They both just came online in the last couple of months. And I was actually just in the Denver Post about that a couple of days ago. But I've been focused on mountain galleries and getting my work seen. You know, my demographics, people that love the outdoors. So that's been a big win. I'm really honored about that.
Well, and it makes so much sense for your work, you know. Has it been you reaching out to these galleries or them reaching out to you? A little bit of both? How does that work?
Well, it used to be me being like, hey, I'm coming in. Can't stop me. But, you know, now I can walk into galleries and people know me. Even with like people know me. They know my work through Instagram. I've got over 50,000 followers on Instagram, and I am a loud personality, and I am I'm proud of what I do, and I make sure people know about it. And so galleries know me, especially in Colorado. And so it's been getting easier and easier. And I'm looking to expand my reach internationally. In Asia has kind of been a new thing for me that I think my work would really go well in the metal and in markets like Japan and Hong Kong and China. That's been a tough nut to crack, but I was just at the Intersect Aspen Fair in Aspen, Colorado, and spoke to a lot of international galleries. And so it's that's in the works. But yeah, now it is getting easier, but I'm never going to stop fighting for what I believe in and fighting for my work ever.
Yeah. And that's what separates you from a lot of other artists. Because you, like you said, you hustle, and some artists don't.
And I've been teaching classes in Canada and Australia for a company called Leveling Up. They found me, and I'm a master artist for them. So I've been teaching classes about marketing yourself as an artist. And I've got a group, a 6-month group. It's all women. They're wonderful. They're Canadian, and their culture is very a bit like humble. And so I'm trying to teach them, hey, it's okay to call people multiple times to see if they've seen your email. And so it's been amazing teaching. I've really enjoyed it. But yeah, I am, with my background in advertising and marketing and filmmaking, directing films and all that, and acting, I definitely have a different perspective than a lot of artists. And for me, it works.
Yeah.
Part of your plan these days has been getting in front of a lot of art buyers. Have you been going to a lot of these art fairs as of late?
Yeah. In fact, I'm super excited to have been one of only a handful selected artists that are going to be featured in a very big show coming up in Denver, October 28th to the 31st. It's called the Denver Fine Art Fair. It's put on by Show Handis. And I think like 95% of it is going to be international, national, and local galleries. They're going to be having Dali and all kinds of very, very, really big stuff. It's at the National Western Stock Show. And I'm lucky enough to have been selected and have a booth there. And I'm going to be showing quite a bit of work because I stuck through them through the pandemic. And I said, yeah, hell yeah, I'm doing this. And I don't need a refund. They gave me double the space. So I'm going to have quite a big booth. And I do those shows. And in fact, I encourage all artists to do those kind of art fairs. I think they're actually lucrative. They're a tremendous amount of cost and work. I did a show in San Francisco with something called Superfine Art Fair. It cost me $15,000 and $10,000 of production cost and shipping cost. And it's $25,000 for a 4-day weekend.
Wow.
Big risk.
Yeah.
But everything leads to something. And had it not been, and I was actually the top selling artist at the festival out of 75 people, but, and I still didn't make my money back. But a year later, looking back on it, I wouldn't have gotten the San Francisco gallery. They were there and they decided to represent me. And I wouldn't have gotten that huge commission had it not been for the contacts that I made at this thing. So how do you track sales? It's hard. How do you track, where things come from? It's hard. So you ask questions. How do you hear about me? How do you find me? I ask everyone that. Everyone. It's part of my practice. And I write it down and I see trends. But, the Denver Fair is going to be a lot less expensive for me, but it's still pretty pricey. My work is expensive to produce. It's expensive to get trucks, and I'm going to need a staff, and I'm going to need people to help me hang it. But I know that the risks pay off. And if they don't, what we were talking about earlier, Todd, you learn from them. Why didn't it work? What did I do wrong? How am I going to improve it the next time?
Last year when we were talking with you, you said every penny that you earn from selling art, you put directly back into the business as far as marketing and everything else that goes into it. Are you still doing that, or has things changed in the last year that you're able to actually finally not only pay for that sort of thing, but also pay yourself?
Todd, that's a great question, a really important one. At the time when I told you that, I was working part-time for Apple. I was driving Uber when I was done with Apple. I didn't tell people about this. I was hustling. I was working hard. I had 3 jobs. Being an artist is the most important, but to be able to put that money back into advertising and the marketing, I spend quite a bit of money every month on advertising. And now I'm pleased to say I am paying myself, and it feels darn good. And I don't, although I love working for Apple, wow. And I enjoyed and learned a lot from some of my drives on Uber. I'm a full-time artist, and I don't have to side hustle, and I'm paying myself.
That's awesome.
And I'm paying myself consistently, and it feels great. So
love to hear that, man. Love to hear that. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's I know it's only been 3 years, but I have worked really hard to be able to do that and sacrifice quite a bit. So
well, it sounds like too, not only did the hard work pay off, but people discovered your work, and it sounds like 2020 and 2021 have been pretty good so far to you.
I would say explosive. I just sold a painting in Vail International Gallery, an original, the Vail piece. Yeah, half of it goes to the gallery, but they earned it. I've sold 2 originals this month. Yes, I've sold 6 limited editions since Monday.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my best week ever. And the best part of it is now I get to talk to you guys. So it's been amazing. And it's not always been amazing. I've had to work to get here, and it's been a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice and struggle and learning. So, but right now things are going well, and I understand the career of an artist. Next 2 years, I might not sell anything. So I'm enjoying this, and I feel lucky, and I'm trying to get back as much as I can while it's happening.
That's awesome.
Well, we're happy that you're celebrating with us for your best week ever. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I was looking at all the galleries that you have listed on your website too, which I think is like right around 6. How many of those galleries are new for you in the last year since we talked to you?
Let me look at my website. I think they all might be new.
Okay. I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't positive of that. So
I'm looking right now, and Vail International, our gallery, Jayco's Art House, Breckenridge, Mystic Trinity is brand new this week. The Cohen Gallery and are all new this year in 2021. So
does certain galleries, let me ask you this question, does certain galleries take, they want certain works from you, or is it just whatever they want, you can facilitate that?
That's a great question, because I just had a conversation with my dear friend Mary. She's amazing, and she's kind of like a manager to me and a mentor to me. She's very, very knowledgeable in the art world, and she's been hearing my struggle, because up until 2 weeks ago, I would get a shipment of 6 to 9 paintings a week, and they would all be gone, and I'd have to prioritize what galleries they go to, and I have to be like, well, I can't send it there, I'm going to send it here. And so she encouraged me very shrewdly to order a bunch of paintings. So I've got 18 paintings coming this week. Half of them are already going places. But now I have the ability, with my inventory and understanding of inventory and that business knowledge that she passed on to me, to give galleries the choices of the paintings they want and not have to prioritize. So In the past, I had empty walls when I would do studio tours, and because I had to take paintings down and drive them. And I do a lot of driving, a lot. I've been to Vail and Breckenridge and Boulder at least once a week for the last, all three of those, at least once a week for the last month.
Wow.
But now I'm going to have an inventory and be able to preemptively know that, like, oh, well, my three most popular paintings, Maroon Bells, it's almost sold out because I'm doing 25 total limited editions and then I'm done. There's no more. Vail is super hot. That's a brand new piece, and that's close to being done. And Tetons is becoming extremely popular. So is Garden of the Gods right now. So knowing, my four hottest pieces, I'm able to have like 4 or 5 of those on stock ready to get out to either galleries or collectors who buy them. So
one of the pieces that I've seen recently, and it sounds like this was a fairly new piece, is that Breckenridge piece. Is that correct?
That's brand new. Yeah, that's correct.
That piece is absolutely stunning. I really, really, really love that. If you guys go to Topher's website, if you go down to bestsellers on that first page at the very bottom there, you can see that piece, and it's stunning.
Todd, you asked me like what's something that's been a learning for you, and I've gotten a lot of criticism about that piece because when it's put up on a wall with 5 or 6 of my other pieces, it doesn't look like them. So I've gotten criticism from some people, and I've gotten great feedback too from other people, but it's very different aesthetically than what I've done in the past. And the criticism, which I take to heart and I understand what's being said, is that it looks too photorealistic until you get close to it. And then you realize what's been done to it. But from a distance, it just looks like any old photo. But I mean, that's something I learned, is to keep my style the same kind of flowing lines and contours and bright vivid colors that I've been doing. And so I'm on the fence. I sold one Breckenridge piece. It's in 2 galleries currently. It's at Breckenridge Gallery in Vail International currently. And I'm thinking about maybe redoing it and reapproaching it to make it to look like more of my other work. But yeah, I mean, that's been a learning recently, is now that I've got a style and I'm known for it, when I do something out of the norm, it's maybe not accepted as much.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, man. I mean, I really love that piece along with the Haleakala piece. That piece, kind of the same style as far as the more detail and not the bright, vibrant colors and the broader strokes. But I really like it. Do you think you could do, kind of separate that work, have like 2 bodies of work? Because I think that what you're doing is fantastic.
Todd, what's super exciting is after the Vail Gallery, Vail International sold my piece, my Vail original piece, and they've sold like 7 or 8 of the limited editions in just the 3 months that I've been there. After they sold the original, I had a conversation with Mark, who's fantastic. He is a star in the art world and just been amazing in terms of advising me on pricing and my career. And we're already committed to being, in a professional relationship for a long time, and it's been advantageous. But I said, Mark, what's next? What do you want? What landscape do you want? He's like, actually, Topher, I really love your Oakland cargo industrial work. And I was like, well, it's not a landscape. I like it too. Thank you. And so he wants that. And what's cool is like 2 days after deciding that he was going to get that, it was featured on a website that I'm on, but I need to get off it. It's called Singular Art. And it's featured in a collection like the day after he decided to put it up. So it's cool because it's very different. It's industrial. It's cool. I love that piece. And I'll tell you, when you see it big on metal, like 45 by 90, it's quite stunning. So I'm excited to see how it's received, and maybe I can start to get out of that world of of being known just for my landscapes, because as much as I love painting trees, it gets old.
There's a lot of trees.
Yeah, especially in that Breckenridge piece. But I'm excited to get that Oakland cargo up in Vail. So super excited.
And for people who want to check out that's under the cityscapes section of work on Topher's website. That San Francisco piece, is that a newer piece or is that an older piece?
That I did specifically for my Superfine San Francisco show at the Fort Mason Center, and it took 9 months to make. Quite a bit of work, quite an arduous process. I mean, yeah, the computer and the internet's great for us artists, but it also kind of sucks because most people see my art on a cell phone or on a computer screen, and then when they see it in person, they're like, "Oh, I get it. I understand now." But there were a lot of lines and a lot of colors, and so I created that just for the San Francisco show, and that's actually probably my most popular in the Cityscape series. And I created the Breckenridge piece just for the Breckenridge Gallery. And I created the Vail piece just for the Vail International Gallery. And guess where I'm going next week? In 2 weeks, I'm going up to Telluride, and I've got a couple meetings with galleries, and I'm going to create a Telluride piece. And this is how we do it.
Nice.
Isn't that the secret right there? Some very custom just for them.
Yeah. It works for me. So
yeah, man. I love that San Francisco piece. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, damn! I don't remember that on his website before." So I had to ask you about that.
And I've been I do have a lot of people I work with. I have a lot of people on my team, a lot, and so I've actually been taking down paintings that don't quite fit with my brand, because I'm a brand, and I accept that, and I've worked for that. Actually, I've been cognizant of that. So I've had to take down pieces that are maybe too personal. Some darker pieces, and I'm just sticking with my landscapes and my cityscapes and my wildlife, and I might even just take all my wildlife out too. Who knows? But it's important to build your brand as an artist, at least if you want to be a brand. And so I've worked really hard on that, on Instagram, on social media, on and how I approach galleries. I mean,
I love checking out your social media because I'm always like, I wonder where Topher, I see it pop up and I'm like, where is he this week? Is he in Aspen? Is he in Vail? It's a lot of fun, man. And you do a really great job with it. I think we discussed that last time, but I always enjoy seeing where you're at and where you're either hanging art or, you're at the gallery, one of these galleries that's showing your art. And it's always fun. You talked about working with the winery and getting your artwork on labels. I also noticed that last year you had a whole print. You were doing prints, and you had a whole print website. Are you still doing that? Are you just kind of pivoting now to just having it all on one site?
Todd, that was a 2-month experiment. It was a bad experiment. It's something I learned from. I am not doing prints. I am not doing prints. I want my art to be on metal. I tried doing prints, and hey, you can print my work on bamboo, on canvas, on glossy paper. But hey, my work is meant to be on metal with a resin finish. And to do that, I'm not doing prints. And I want my work to be, accessible. My limited edition start at $3,600, which according to all the consultants and art folks that I've spoken to is a good price, because there's only 25 of them. They're exclusive. That's all that's going to be. And they're semi-accessible. And you know what? I have a program with a firm in Art Money, where if I had a collector in Los Angeles who found me on Instagram, and she bought 3 projectors at garage sales, and she wrote me this amazing email that she's been projecting my work on her walls for the last year. And she wants nothing more than to have one of my paintings, and it's just too expensive. So I was able to give her a fantastic deal. And because I know she doesn't have the money, and I know that I'm selling, and I want, if she's that passionate about my work, it really means a tremendous amount. So I gave her a fantastic deal that I haven't given anyone else, because I know she'll cherish it, and that she's not just going to cherish it for a day. It's going to be a lifetime. It's cool, the messages that and the communications that I've been getting from collectors recently. I had something really, really amazing happen about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I'm not going to share their name, but a wonderful woman called me up. I advertise in 3 magazines currently. I advertise in the Aspen Sojourner. I advertise in Boulder Lifestyle and Cherry Creek Lifestyle. I do a full page ad, quite expensive, but it's been working for me and my work. And I get a call from a lady in Boulder, and she says, Topher, I love your work, but my husband actually loves it a lot more. And I've got a story to tell you. Do you mind sitting down? Well, I'm okay. Well, tell me what's going on. Well, she said, we moved to Colorado because my husband wanted to die here. And he's got brain cancer. And we've got 4 kids, young kids, and he wanted to come here to Boulder because of the care. And I mean, he might make it through, God. I hope he does. But he saw one of my ads in Boulder Lifestyle. He's got severe memory loss because of all the things that he's been going through. But for whatever reason, everywhere he's been going, he's been taking this magazine with him and showing people my art. I mean, the human mind is amazing. It's amazing. And sometimes as artists, whether it be like visual artists or musicians, we don't realize how powerful it can be. But this is what he's held on to. This has been his thing. So I said, okay, well, why don't you guys come up to the house? And I do maybe 2 to 3 studio tours a week, only for serious collectors. And I said, why don't you bring the kids up and we'll do a tour. And my tours last about an hour to 2 hours. And she has 4 kids. She's fantastic, and her kids are just lovely. They're artists. They're passionate about art, and her husband is amazing for what he's having to go through and the courage he has and the choices he's made. And he looks at the Maroon Bells piece after seeing it for the first time in person and not in a magazine. And we just look at it for a while. I have to leave for a little bit and think, God, these kids might not have their dad soon. And so they get one of the last Maroon Bell limited editions. And they wanted the original, and that's gone. And the collector of that is not going to sell it. So they got a limited edition. And I talked to him. 2 things happened. Is I talked to the family and I said, well, what is it about the bells, the Maroon Bells, that really resonates with you? And he said, well, when I was able to bike, I biked up to the top of Maroon Bells. And it was amazing. And his wife helped him to communicate what he was trying to communicate. And I was like, shoot, I got to do that. So I booked a trip to Aspen 2 weeks later after meeting him. My mom, she's 82 next month. My son, he's 11. We went to Aspen and I said, we're going to bike up to the top of Maroon Bells. So 3 generations of us, 2 of them on electric bikes, me on a road bike, biked 37 miles to the top of Maroon Bells, and it was beautiful. Oh my God, what an amazing experience. Spiritual. And I understood what he was trying, what grabbed him about my painting and why he held on to that moment in his life so much. And so we did it. And I made a video for him, and I thanked him at the top of Maroon Bells. And after meeting the family, I knew I'm gonna be in their life forever, and they knew that they're gonna be in my life forever. And the second cool thing that happened is before they left, they shared the last part that they went to as a family when he still had his memory, when he was still cognizant and able to communicate how he wanted to communicate and was healthy. And they went to Zion National Park, and I decided to drop everything this month that I was working on and paint. Zion National Park for him, so that he could see it, and they're going to get the original. For me, and I'm writing a book, guys. I'm writing a book. It's called Aloha Love. And for me, life is all about connection. And as an artist, I find that these connections that I've been having have been amazing. This connection with this family and what they gave me, bike up to the top of Maroon Bells. And I'll never forget that memory of my mom and my son and I biking up to the top. It was amazing. And so it's these opportunities that we have as artists. I didn't mean to get all deep, guys, but I did. And life is beautiful. It's challenging. It sucks sometimes. It's hard to see people going through things at different moments, and we've all had our challenges. But I'm grateful for all the people that have come into my life that have been touched by my art.
That's what we love about you, man. You get deep, you feel, you're very empathetic. That's what we love about you. You're one of us.
Well, thank you. And thanks for giving me this platform to share this story, because I haven't shared it on a public platform.
Thank you for sharing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. Very touching.
Yeah, man. That's an incredible experience. And like you said, it's something that you don't take for granted. And, it's special. It's one of those moments that in life that you share with other people and that connection, like you were saying, which is so important, especially now. Hey, last time we talked to you, we got to meet your son, Oliver.
Yeah.
And who we love talking with. And we talked before the program that you thought we could get him on again tonight. Is that possible?
It is totally possible. Let's make it happen. He is so excited to talk to you guys because he's also learned a lot this year. We all have. So he's 11 years old. He's on a lot of my Instagram posts, and he is not just a muse for my work, but also the catalyst for the important life changes and decisions that I made. I would love for him to talk to you guys, and I know he's going to be thrilled. So let's make it happen.
All right, let's do it. Hey, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Good. It's good to see you.
You too.
It's been like a year.
Yeah.
You look much bigger. You look the same in some ways, but I can tell that you've gotten older and that you've grown.
Yeah. I just turned 11 a couple days ago, like a week ago.
Nice.
Oh, well, happy belated birthday.
Thanks.
Todd looks older too, doesn't he? But I haven't aged a bit. Oh my God.
Oh, what did you do for your birthday?
Yeah, I went to a lake and just hung out, caught a couple fish, and yeah.
Did you canoe?
That depends if using a motor is considered a canoe.
Oh, okay. So you were actually in a motorized boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. It was you and your dad?
Yep, and my grandma was there too.
Sweet. What kind of fish did you catch?
I forgot the name of it, but I caught
a lot of trout. Lot of trout.
Rainbow trout, like a couple brown trout, and I forgot the other one.
Good for you.
Oliver learned how to skin a fish, and he loves truffle oil. So he prepared trout with butter and truffle oil for us every day from fish that he caught.
Man.
That's crazy. That sounds good.
It does sound good. I'm coming to your house for dinner.
Anytime.
So how's the last year been?
It's been awesome.
Yeah?
I've done a couple paintings. I've enjoyed life.
Right.
That's awesome.
On.
So what kind of paintings did you do?
I did a coronavirus painting, of course, and I'm working on a painting right now. It's way more colorful than any of my other paintings, a lot of bright colors. I did a small, like a medium-sized painting. I even painted on wood.
So that was a new experience then? Because previous you were just painting on a canvas. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what's cool about Oliver's painting and how he teaches me so much is Oliver was using the back of his paintbrush to etch and using paper towels to make texture and squirt bottles. I mean, he's always pushing the limits and doing things in his own unconventional way. And it's really thrilling to watch this evolve.
I bet. Yeah. That's one of the benefits of being a kid, because you're not inundated by all these rules and ideas that, you feel like you have to follow when you're an adult. So I bet that's really inspirational working. You guys work side by side a lot of times, right?
Yeah. My desk is right by his desk. So when I do school, he's like right behind me.
Nice.
Right, watching every I dotted, and he gets freedom. But yeah, we and our easels are right beside each other. And right now we're painting a painting together. That's the bright one that he was talking about. And it's fun. It's awesome. It's great having Oliver in my life.
Yeah. What's it like to have an artist as a dad?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I get a lot of cool experiences. I learn a lot, and I just get creative because kids will normally be on their phones playing video games. Then my dad's there painting awesome paintings, landscapes. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Learn a lot, see a lot. It's awesome.
Yeah, that would be. I'm jealous a little bit because my dad wasn't a painter. So, but yeah, so it's really cool that you get to spend time with your dad.
Yeah, another great advantage of my dad being an artist, he gets to be home with me all the time since he gets to work from home.
Yeah.
And we go to galleries together. Oliver knows all the gallery owners and in fact might be in another gallery soon. Actually 2, right, Bud?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets experiences that a lot of kids don't get, which is really cool. And meets collectors when they come over for studio visits. And Oliver actually just set up a gallery in his bedroom of some of his latest works. It's really cool. So people come over to see my work and then they fall in love with Oliver.
Yeah. Well, we fell in love with Oliver last year when we had him on the podcast. It was wonderful.
Yeah. It was pretty cool being on my first podcast.
Have you done any podcasts since then?
Oh.
Or is this the second time out?
Second time.
This is exclusive, right? You're exclusive.
Yeah.
Right. I was thinking about sending him in a contract for an exclusive that we're exclusive to follow his career as an artist.
Hey, last time that we talked to you, you were preparing to do a show with Phil Bender. Talk about that.
Yeah. So, is that the one at the Pirate Gallery or?
Yeah, the one at the Pirate Gallery.
Yeah. I figured out a new way of setting up my paintings. I would just put them at angles, put them sideways, and it looked pretty cool.
How'd that show go for you, by the way?
It went awesome. Sold a painting.
No, you sold 3 paintings, Bud. You sold 1 to California.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is awesome.
Thanks.
It's huge.
What else has been going on? You were online, doing online school, yeah?
Yeah.
Any takeaways, anything that you learned in this past year during this pandemic?
Yeah. Do not do online school because I got a little carried away, and yeah.
You got a little carried away.
Yeah. I focusing on other things.
Ah.
Yeah.
I have a son myself, and I can relate to that, what you just told me. It's easy to get carried away with other things when you're in your own space all the time, right?
Yeah.
Anything else that you learned last year?
Also learned that art can be interpreted in many different ways.
That's a great takeaway. That is a great lesson right there. Who outside of your dad, and you've been to all these galleries, who have you seen in the last year that you really like their work? Any artists that come to mind?
In one of the galleries my dad's in, I don't know the artist, but it just really caught my eye. artist shows in the White House, and they have a really cool texture on them.
That sounds interesting. Were they portraits? Were they landscapes?
They were kind of just a bunch of different colors smeared on the painting, looked a little bit like some of my paintings, except like more texture and more dark colors.
Okay.
So abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you love Ron Hicks' work too, at Vail International.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
he's
like-
really good.
Yeah, we like Ron's work as well. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Very humble, very talented.
Yeah.
Have you met Ron? Have you met Mr. Hicks?
No.
No. Okay.
I was fortunate enough. I'm in a wonderful art group. Amazing artist, and so he's part of that when he's free, and had to sideline that for a little bit during the COVID period, but we're looking at getting back together. But he's just amazing. I really look up to him and his work and his way.
And one of the nicest people you could ever meet, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Oliver, it was great to see you. Anything else that you want to talk about or promote since we have you on? You got this little window of opportunity here to promote anything or talk about anything else that you want to talk about.
No, I think that's it.
That's
All
it.
right.
Well, I'm glad you were able to join us tonight and talk a little bit with us. Tell us what's been going on this past year.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. We always enjoy talking to you. So we can't wait to have you on again real soon. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll make it an annual thing.
Hey, are you catching your dad in height?
Almost.
Almost. Getting there?
Yeah.
He's stronger and he's smarter and he's more talented than me. And that's exactly what I want as a father. That's my dream. So I think, Oliver, you and I are going to do a trip up to South Dakota and see Wes. Sound good?
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye. Looking forward to seeing you.
You too.
We'll talk to you soon, Oliver. That was awesome.
That was great. I love that kid.
Yeah.
He's such a great kid.
I'm so proud of him. And he, like I said, he teaches me and inspires me every day. It's the best gift to be a dad, as you guys know. So,
Yeah. Well, you're a great dad.
thank you.
And Todd's a great dad. So it's good to be around people like you that take family so seriously.
Hey, Topher, before we sign off tonight, anything else that you want to talk about that you have coming up? I know that we talked about this art fair, the Denver Fine Art Fair, October 28th through the 31st that's happening. Anything else that you want to talk about that you have coming up that you want people to know about?
Yeah, let's see. Two things just real quick. Another organization that's amazing that I'm working with is called Wings of Hope. They are a pancreatic cancer research foundation. And if there's still tickets left, would love to see you and meet you there. It's Hazel Miller and the Collective are going to be playing, and she is a Colorado icon, fantastic artist, singer, a lot of fun. It's going to be Saturday, September 18th. I'm going to have two paintings on auction, so can't remember which ones they got for that. But if you, I know Garden of the Gods will be on auction, and it's a, if you like my work and you want to have a good time, and most importantly, you want to give back to the community, this is a great opportunity for you to get my work at possibly a little bit less than you would through my website or through a gallery. September 18th at the Heritage Eagle Bend Golf Club in Aurora. Maureen is a wonderful person. She runs it, and she's lost two very close people to pancreatic cancer, and a lot of people that have really touched our lives as Americans have passed away from it, including Steve Jobs. So that's going to be a pretty amazing event and a great way to give back. So I hope to see you there. And then I just came across something fascinating on Cafe, callforentry.com. The Denver airport is doing a airport concourse expansion. And at one of the concourses, there's a call for Colorado artists to do works that are suspended The budget is up to $450,000. Now, 3 of the other calls are international, but this one specifically on Concourse B is just for Colorado artists. I would encourage everybody to try to at least go to cafe and look this call up. It's an amazing opportunity for your work to be seen by a lot of people, and a great opportunity for us as Colorado artists to be in the 4th busiest airport in America. Super excited about that. I don't know if I have anything in my mind because I paint that would be suspended, but I just wanted to put the word out there because this is a huge deal for Colorado artists.
Yeah, that is. And if you could send us some information or a web link, we'd love to get the word out there and support that.
Yeah, I'm writing a sticky note. And I guess the last thing that I just want to touch upon is just sincerely thank you to you both for the job that you do in giving artists a voice and the opportunity to share our stories. And I savor listening to other podcasts that you do and the other artists and hearing their journeys. And I love being on your show, and I love the job you guys do and the camaraderie that you two have. And I'm just really honored and thrilled to be on here, and I'll look forward to next year and look forward to talking about all the things that have happened, because to be honest, I'm a goal setter and I have lofty goals and I set them every year, and things happen beyond my wildest imagination. And there's some stuff that I haven't been able to talk about that is really exciting, and I hope it comes to fruition in 2022. And I'll look forward to continuing our friendship on this podcast in person. So thank you both.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It was great to reconnect a little while back at a gallery opening for our friend Megan Wilbar.
Oh my God, what a amazing artist. I am so inspired. I mean, they had to like almost like tone me down and not give me Red Bull anymore because her work is so good. That was great to see you there.
I love her work. I love your work, man. And yeah, it was fun to see another artist in the community show up for that show, because I really believe that she is just she's a phenomenal human being to begin with. But she's just an amazing artist, and her work is absolutely stunning. So,
and we all have to support each other. So it was good to see you there too, and it's good to see you out and about in the community. And I encourage all Colorado artists to support each other. We're a team, and we can all help each other out. And my wish for everyone is that they're more successful than me times 10. And it's an amazing community we have. We're lucky, man.
We are really lucky. We are.
Yeah, Topher, I love talking to you. I love your passion. I love your excitement, your boldness. You have a great story. I love Oliver and following his art journey. And I'm looking forward to seeing you come and do the Badlands. And Oliver's welcome too. It'd be fun just to hang out with the two of you.
I can't wait, man.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again. And again, check out Topher's website. It's topherstraus.com. And you can find him on Instagram at Creative Topher. And for the Tenant Podcast, I'm Todd Pearson.
And I'm Wes Brown. Have a great week.